I just heard one good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. I often, people ask me that you're a dance movement therapist, and so what does that mean? And I explain it to them that, I use movement and creative expressions for therapeutic change and healing, and they're often like, oh, so you dance for them? And I'm like, no, that's not what I do. They're like, okay, do they dance for you? I'm like, no. So usually I explain it to them that it's more of an engagement in a space. We're all moving together where we're feeling safe and engaged and communicating. Yeah. So when I said a good morning, and if I got a response back, that's engagement, right? Yeah. So if I say good morning, how are you going to engage back to me? Good morning. Can I see the engagement with me? Good morning. Thank you. So when they reached out to me and then they told me that the TEDx theme for this year is Kingpin, yeah, the center to change, something where the source of the change, from where the ripples begin to happen, yeah. And I thought to myself, and then I asked them, do you know what I do? And they're like, I'll tell you what I do. So when I came back around 8 years ago, after finishing my dance movement therapy masters, and somebody was asking me, what do I do? And when I was explaining it to them, and then the response was, oh, so it's like an ancillary thing to the field of psychotherapy, yeah? And at that time, I had a blank face because, one, I did not know the meaning of ancillary, right? So I went back home and I checked the meaning of ancillary, and I'll tell you what it is. Do you know the meaning of ancillary? Great, awesome, but I did not know it that time, right? So it said, providing necessary support to the primary activity or operation of an organization, yeah? Something that is functioning as a supplement or in addition to, but not as important. And I often thought to myself after that, so if it's addition to something, what is the primary? So what is the primary in psychotherapy? What is the primary in healing? And usually, most psychologists will answer you, and I'll tell you, psychotherapy, things that psychologists do. And I'm like, okay, so what do they do? And they go like, they bring about change in people's life, and they help them grow. And I said, and how do they do that? And people have problems, people have issues, and people then talk about it. So there are two elements to it: talk and it. Yeah, about, we're gonna ignore the about. Yeah, so the talk bit relies on the verbal engagement, right? The verbal expression that happens between the therapist and the client. And the it, what is the it that we're talking about? So if you asked most therapists, that it will be something like, oh, their thoughts, emotions, feelings, actions, the complexity of their emotions and relationships. That's what they talk about. And something happens in that engagement that brings about change. And I said, okay, great, perfect. And that makes sense to me because, I was a psychologist. But if I was a client, will that still make sense to me? And so I thought to myself, what is missing in this? I bought, when I was studying psychology, I bought this definition and I agreed to it 100%. And I said, yes, of course, I'm going to talk to my clients about their feelings and emotions and thoughts, and I'm going to bring about change in their lives. And I did that, I did that for some time. But I still thought something was missing. Because when we are talking and when we are using the verbal expression as the only tool, we are limiting ourselves. So when I did movement-based therapies and body-based therapies, it completely blew my mind. Why? Because body is this one thing that has the ability to express in myriads of ways. Yeah? You can move. How many of you can move? Great, awesome. How many of you can make sounds? How many of you can scribble on the paper? Great, awesome. And how many of you have problems like stress? Really? That's it? Really? Come on. How many of you have stress? Raise hands. Awesome. You are eligible to come for a movement-based therapy session. So body-based therapy have this crazy idea, based on the crazy assumption that you are more than your verbal expression. One, yeah. The second is the crazy assumption that everybody, whether you are an artist or not, you are capable of expressing creatively. It requires no tool, no technique, no dance class, no art class, no music class to engage in a creative, expressive dialogue. It also relies a lot on the process. Yeah? So often, all of us over the years have been taught that, you got to be good in art if you're drawing something, or you got to be knowing how to do this step if you have to dance, right? How many of us have heard that? Or in some form or the other, some messages that, oh no, I can't dance because I've never really danced. Yeah, so many, right? So it goes on to this understanding that the process of creative expression is the only purpose of creative expression. Yeah? Because what matters is the expression and not the culmination of that expression. Yeah? Not the finished product of what you have created together. So when we are in a creative dialogue, it is the dialogue that matters and not what happens after that. So when I say, how many of you have experienced stress in your life? How many of you raised hand that time? Awesome. And if I could ask you while you're sitting on your chairs, show me with your right hand, what is the rhythm of the stress? If everybody can raise hands and show me your own personal rhythm of what stress does to your body. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Raise hands and show me the rhythm. Okay, shaky, lots of shakiness. I can see that. Okay. What about here? What is the rhythm of your stress? Oh, stiffness. That's right. Yeah, stiffness is the stress. Yes. And if I could ask you, with just your hand, can you show me the shape of your stress? That's a complicated one. Oh, I could see that. Shape of a stress. That's one. Yeah. And if I could ask all of you together, tell me what is the sound of your stress? 1, 2, 3. More. Can you expand that sound a little more? Can you expand that a little more so we can all hear? Yes. Sorry, I created so much stress in the hall right now. But so in a body-based therapy sessions, this thing is expanded. Yeah. So when you're expanding what you're feeling through your body, you give it a form. You externalize it. You bring it out. You're able to see it. You're able to see the impact of it. You're able to see how it affects various parts of your body. Yeah. So touch one part of your body where you feel the most stress. Okay, that's one. Where else? Heart, yes, heart. Stomach, yes, that's right, stomach. And so when we know that there are certain body parts that experience stress, how can we ignore the body when we want to come out of stress? That's a big question, right? So when we deny our body, which we do all the time, yeah? We deny our body in education, we deny our body in health, we deny our body in relationships such as parenting. Yeah, when we have little toddlers and we get confused what to do with them, yeah, and we give them screens because okay, that's something that calms them down, right? So when we deny our body so often, we stop receiving messages from our body. And when we stop receiving those messages from our body, we deny ourselves integration and we deny ourselves the sense of making meaning. So we deny ourselves the path to healing. Because what is healing really? Healing is just making sense of what is happening within us. Healing is making sense of the part that is stressed. Healing is making sense of our thoughts. And healing is making sense of our complex relationships. And when we give form through our body or creative expression, when we draw and paint and sing out, bring noise out, bring sounds out, we're able to externalize it. We give it a form. We give it a form, and then we see it. Then we're able to check. So when we know what we don't want, we're able to see what we do want, right? So when we're able to see it, we exactly know what is the path towards healing. And that is precisely why we need to accept and own our bodies back. We need to reclaim our bodies back. We need to reclaim our art back and our creativity back in order to not deny ourselves healing. Because there is no one person here who doesn't require healing in some form or the other. Thank you so much.